Welcome to episode 137 of the Muck Podcast, a member of the Odd Pods Media Network. Listen in as we discuss the dark and sometimes weird true stories in American politics. I'm Tina Hadamio.
And I'm Hillary Dockery.
Hillary.
Hi. Well, this is a fun day for us.
It is a fun day.
Yeah, because we are taking over the Odd Pods Media Instagram account today.
Yes.
Which was like a last minute thing last night.
Spice it up.
Yeah. Lauren from Beard Owl, who we love, Beard Owl Podcast, which is on our network, the Odd Pods Media Network. She had this idea.
Sister bro.
Yeah, Lady Bro.
Our Lady Bro.
Yeah.
Our Lady Bro.
She had this idea in the last meeting to that the different podcasts can take over the accounts.
Yes.
Take over the Odd Pods account to like just draw people in and drive them to the. I guess, I don't know, we're more in, I think we're probably, maybe Richie from Super Media Bros, but we're definitely Instagram heavy.
We are.
I prefer Instagram.
I love Instagram the most.
Yeah, but Lauren told me that Twitter is like the medium for podcasts, which I didn't know that. I mean, we have a Twitter at Muck Podcast, but we don't, I mean, I'm not Twitter like heavy. Yeah. But I guess maybe we should be.
I just never learned. I feel like I understand Instagram. Yeah. But Twitter, it's just like, I'm retweeting, you know, like what am I tweeting? It's a lot of reading, too. You know, it's like very new, reading. You know, to me, it feels like the more like newsy. Yeah. Yeah. And then Instagram is sort of like fun, here's what I'm doing. Pictures. And then Facebook is like family, grandma. Right. You know what I mean?
Poor Facebook.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, fuck Facebook.
Oh, we should just get off of Facebook.
I was gonna say that to you. Like, I'm ready to get off Facebook if it's okay if the muck disappears from Facebook, because those motherfuckers gave Facebook messages to the police between a mother and her daughter, who's underage girl, so she could get an abortion. They were discussing it, and they arrested the two of them. Facebook gave them the fucking messages. Those are we're supposed to have some sort of security and privacy there, which obviously it's like we all know it's a social media account. I mean, there's no such thing as private. Well, and like these laws being, because I understand like if somebody was making a drug deal on like that's used in court, right? It's evidence. So like, but where does the boundary fall? And what No, fuck it. Fuck Facebook. That's bullshit.
And it is like this is not. To me, an illegal act between a mother and a daughter to have those conversations. Right. And where are we living? What sort of police for the law and order people and the freedom people? What kind of police state are you creating for all of us?
Also, do you want people looking at your messages?
Yeah.
Like they don't have to be about abortion. Should we just make everyone's messages on social media public? What would your messages be saying? What would people see? Like, is that what because when we talk about abortion, it is a privacy issue.
It's a privacy issue.
That's how the Supreme Court just overturned Roe v. Wade. It was a privacy issue. And they took it away from anyone with a uterus, right? The same thing. They're coming for all of our privacy. Yeah. They look at our messages, they're going to look at your messages. Believe me.
I know. It's I don't know what.
Nobody gives a shit unless it affects them. But speaking of that, there was a 17-year-old girl in Florida this week who's the court
I have that on my list.
Has said that she has to have a baby. She went to the court. She 16, has no parents.
I believe, wasn't she 16?
She's 17.
She's 17.
She has no parents.
Yeah,
she's living in the system.
Yep.
Trauma, getting pregnant.
Right.
Has to go in front of a court and judge and determine if she's mature enough to have a baby or make the decision to have an abortion.
Right.
And they said she's not mature enough to make that decision.
But she can carry, deliver, and potentially have to care for.
No, they're going to add another child to the fucking foster care system.
Right? Because she's not...
And so I went on Twitter and I just wanted to remind everybody, all you motherfuckers, because I think it was in Tennessee. I retweeted it. There was a lawmaker in Tennessee who they voted for this ban. And a doctor called him. And was like, I just want to let you know what happened in the ER this week. And a 19-year-old woman came in. She was pregnant. There was no viability. But because of the law that this man voted for, she had to leave there because there was a heartbeat. The baby was not viable to live, but there was a heartbeat. They cannot remove that fetus until there's no heartbeat.
Oh my God.
Okay? So he had to tell this lawmaker,
this is more
I had to and he's like, well, how long does it take for the heartbeat to stop? He goes, well, it could be seconds, it could be days, it could be weeks. We don't know. So this woman had to leave the hospital.
Oh my God.
So he was following up with the doctor because he was so blown away by how horrible this was for this doctor, for the girl. Like, they had to check the law, they had to get a lawyer involved.
Oh my God.
And the girl, he called him a couple weeks later, and the doctor's like, well, she hasn't returned, I don't know. Then he called two more weeks later, the lawmaker, and the doctor's like, she returned, there was no heartbeat, we removed the fetus.
Wow.
This lawmaker then starts crying, talking about how he cannot believe that he went along with this and didn't really think about the effects.
Because you're playing culture wars and you're not thinking.
And he says, I voted for this and I can't believe. Now, I'm sorry, how fucking dense are you? The level of incompetence of elected officials is astounding. So, and astounding to me.
This is the thing. This is the thing that I've been thinking about just really for a long time, but really this week especially with that kind of story and the other things that are happening in other areas like education and things like that somehow we have lost the sense of respect for the qualifications that people in a particular field have.
Yes.
They have gone to school. They have studied. They are the experts. And somehow people think that just because they have an opinion on something, that is the truth or that's what's right, when they have no skills, no knowledge, that lawmaker had no medical knowledge. And I doubt that they talked to any medical doctors about what the ramifications could be or what the scenarios could be before he signed off on that bill.
Right.
And they think somehow that they are justified in making decisions when they have no idea about the subject in which they are making laws and what the ramifications could be. I just don't, it blows my mind. I would never assume to go into anyone that does like accounting or payroll or whatever and say, well, this isn't how it should be done, or why are you using that equipment? Because I'm not well versed in that and I don't know enough. I will defer to the people within the field.
Right, and before, like, I'm not going to assume how things work in Tennessee, but let's talk about how things work in Tallahassee here in Florida. There's at least three committees that these bills need to get through before they go to the floor, right? And that's how you work out the kinks of like what should be removed, what should be added. You have testimony from people who work in those fields, who doctors, nurses, patients who are like, this is how this bill would have affected me. If you pass it, this is what would have happened to me.
They don't listen.
Here's what my story is. But they're caught up in that moment of, got to be part of that fucking party and all that bullshit. And they never, ever really think about how this affects them. And I tweeted and whatever, what is that called? I added Shipla Marca, who's my House rep, the only Republican left in Broward. I added his name to the tweet and I said, you need to own this.
Yeah.
Because of your actions, not only this woman, but all of the young women and anyone with a uterus in Florida who has to go in front of a judge.
I mean, and imagine that.
To get permission. This is on you, motherfucker.
Imagine that.
You're further traumatizing this woman, this young girl. You're further traumatizing her mental state, her physical state. What is wrong with you?
And the power dynamic of that, to have to go as a young person who's already in the system, right? Who knows what their view of the system is based on their experience, now has to go before some adult, some old man.
Yeah.
And
or woman. There was one of these women was a judge. One of these women judged was a woman.
Have to justify themselves and their choices in front of perfect strangers when it's not their body and it has nothing to do with them, and they're going to go home and live their lives. And it's not going to affect them in any way, and they are not thinking. I mean,
here's the other part.
It's horrible.
What are there specific criteria to be mentally capable of making this decision? What are the guidelines for that? Is it the judge that's going to talk to them, and then what? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is it? Do they have to be mentally incapable of like doing math? Like, what is it? What is it? Are they like mentally disabled? Like, what is the fucking criteria that you can make that decision for them? Tell me what it is.
Yeah. And what is deemed like, and then also explain to us how you can be too immature to make a decision about your body, yet be mature enough to actually like be responsible for a whole nother human being, or have to carry another human being, or make the mature choices of taking your prenatal vitamins and doing all the things that you should be doing. Right. Where does that line get drawn? Yeah. Because there's a lot of responsibility of being pregnant too, of getting the rest and doing the things and not live, there's all of these things. So where does that mature? How do you determine that? Who is the person that makes those decisions? The judge. And what is their qualifications? Yeah. What is the medical guideline that they are referring to? What's their religion? Because for me, that's what it comes down to. Where does this person stand with God and abortion? Because that's going to come into play. We're only human. It's definitely going to come into play when they're making these kinds of decisions. And it's already started. Like, this is already started. And by the way, that piece of like under 18, you have to go in front of a judge. That's even from 2022. Yeah, no, that was from 2021. Yeah. Now we add in the 15-week. Yeah. Okay? And it's a whole nother level or layer of and then next session, who knows? It's going to be zero. Oh, no, if DeSantis gets elected, that's the end of it. Oh, God, it's fucking over. It's fucking over. Floridians, please vote. Please vote. Please vote. God. Please vote. Fuck you. You don't vote? Fuck off. Don't even fucking... What is wrong with people? What is wrong? How is this not I know. How is my hair on fire all the time? All the time. We don't get a break in the state. No. We do not. There is not a week that goes by where we can't take a break. The other two things I wanted to mention, aside from the horrible story of that abortion, was our governor, our esteemed governor, showing up in Broward County, trying to intimidate voters and justify the millions of taxpayer dollars going to his little stupid election police force. Talk about Gestapo. Oh my God, what a jerk! With all the cops what is it? What is his one of his cronies call it? Gazpacho. Yeah, she's an idiot. Yeah, he is dangerous. He showed up to Broward County, where we live. It's the bluest county in Florida, and decides he's going to talk about voter election fraud and how during our primaries, how felons, but we call them returning citizens, have the right to vote. Well, 20 of them went to vote, right, and were arrested because they went to vote. Right, 20 people. They were arrested in the 2020 election, and probably I would assume was going based on the passage of Amendment 4, which returned the right to vote to returning citizens. That's right. Without having, I believe you couldn't have like a major heinous felony. Yeah, it can't be murder or child molestation. Those folks are never going to be able to vote. But despite partisan-wide support of that bill and a strong passage of that bill, you have a governor that decided we're not going to listen to the voters, right? The Freedom of Florida guy is not going to listen to the people. Right? Right. That's how free we are in this state, that we vote for something and it doesn't count because he doesn't like it. Yeah. Because he's afraid of those voters. So then the legislators, what do? The people of Florida say, yes, we want returning citizens who serve their time to be able to participate in democracy. Like in many other states across, because we're in Florida. It's just because Florida, that's all we have to say. And the process to get your rights back, your voting rights back, was so dire. It was so terrible. It was so hard to do. And again, shaming, going before the committee. Begging for your fucking rights. So what does the legislature do? They say, all right, yeah, they can vote, but they got to pay their fines and fees first, which could be upwards of thousands and thousands of dollars. Which essentially becomes a poll tax. You can't vote until you pay your fines and fees. It's fucking horseshit. A modern day poll tax. And they know who they're affecting. They're affecting people of color. They're affecting indigent folks. They're affecting people who can't afford this. And it's all political. It's all a political stunt. Yeah. So he comes here. He tries to scare the shit out of people. It's an entire fucking political stunt. It's like bringing the clowns. He's there with the people behind him, and that state of who is it? Ashley Moody. And who's right next to him? Chip motherfucking LaMarca. Both of them. The two of them with their sausage fingers. They both have it. They both have Vienna sausage fingers. So my apologies to Mrs. LaMarca and Mrs. DeSantis. Oh, God. I don't understand those poor women. Ugh.
No.
No, they chose to be there.
They like it. Yeah. They like going across the state. They think they're special.
Yeah.
I hope I run into her too. I know what she looks like. Honey, it's happening. It's going to happen.
Oh, you're just going to be like, hi.
I'm going to go, hi. Sucks. I would like to ask, here's what I'd ask Chip LaMarca's wife very loudly in public so everyone could hear me. How do you sleep next to a man every night who betrays women, is a traitor to women? How do you sit with that? How do you look at your friends in the face knowing that your husband has betrayed every woman in the state by voting to ban abortion at 15 weeks? How fucking dare you? How dare you? That's what I would say. Yeah. How about that?
Yeah,
How does it feel to know your husband's a fucking traitor to women? How does that feel? Feel good? How does that feel when you get all these awards? She's on she's on a business chamber of commerce board.
Good for
you. She gets all the accolades because she's married to this fucking midget of a man. Loves it. He's standing there next to DeSantis because he's a Trump DeSantis Republican.
Yeah, he is.
He tries to act like he's not, but that's exactly who the fuck he is.
Ooh.
Fuck you, Chip LaMarca. That girl having to give birth to this baby, that's on your fucking hands.
It is.
It's all over you. It's all over you.
Disgusting.
And you should fucking own it. You should retweet that story and say, this is a good decision that the judge made.
He won't do it,
But he doesn't do it.
He won't do it.
All over his Twitter is like, business, environment, I'm so great.
Because he knows who the constituents are in Broward County. And he's afraid. And own it. If this is who you are, own it.
He's just a Catholic. I'm sure that's what he hides behind.
So whatever, be a Catholic, but your religion doesn't rule.
Yeah, not when you're voting, you fucking piece of shit. And I can't wait for you to term out. What are you going to do then? You're going to go crawling back to the county commission?
Oh my God!
What are you going to do with your short dick and your short fingers then?
Ha ha!
Rotten hell, you fucking piece of shit.
Rotten hell.
Fuck you. I fucking hate that guy. I fucking hate him.
My God.
I hate him. I hate him.
He is a monster.
Yeah.
And the thing is, our state has a lot of monsters. The other monster I want to talk about is the guy who is running for a state house. I believe it's District 20. That Luis Miguel, did you hear about that?
Oh, he got banned
from Twitter. Because the people that the Republican Party and the DeSantis Republicans, right, are all gung-ho about are people like this guy who his big plan, and I'm going to quote him, was under his big plan, quote, all Floridians will have permission to shoot FBI, IRS, ATF, and all other feds on site. So this is the Law and Order Party, right? The Law and Order Party.
Who's that for, Mar-a-Lago? Yeah. Like, is that for Trump? Like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah, like, the Law and Order Party is only the Law and Order Party when the law doesn't come after them.
Right.
That's not how Law and Order works. It's got to be objective and fair for all people.
And it's so clearly and obviously fucked up when they can twist these laws of like what applied to Hillary Clinton doesn't apply to fucking Donald Trump. It happens to Donald Trump and they're like, oh, this is bullshit.
Yeah.
But you were okay with it when it was happening to Hillary Clinton, right? You were okay when they were trying to get that fucking email server from her house then, which she's such an idiot. I mean, she's an old lady.
Yeah,
she
whatever.
She made a huge fucking mistake. It was so dumb.
But it's not the same as taking classified documents.
Honey.
And you know that man, we talked about this already. You know he's sold.
I mean,
he's selling shit.
Very possible.
I cannot wait
my God.
for espionage, please.
Yeah.
It's an act that it's a hanging error. It's a hanging error. Guess what? I would love to see it. I'm sorry. You put the gallows up for Pence. Let's go.
Oh shit! It's so fucked up, bro. It's so fucked up. Sometimes can't even believe that was our president.
I know.
Like, it's so fucking insane. It is so insane.
You know, like one day in classrooms across America,
we're all laughing.
In 50 years, 60 years, 100 years, they're gonna be like, Jesus, look at this. What was going on in America? What was wrong with these people?
But we're approaching a reckoning, right? Like, you thought like maybe January 6th was that reckoning.
Oh, no,
it's not. There's something else that's gonna happen.
It's civil war.
And I hate to sound like fucking
I feel like we
Alex
might have
Jones.
a civil war.
Yeah, I don't want to sound like Alex Jones, but like we're gonna approach
screw
something.
him too.
Oh yeah, he's
that's
a piece
disgusting.
Of shit. Okay, the last thing I want to bring up before we start is that school board. You know, Broward County went back to school. Tina went back to school. The kids are back in school this week. And what hits?
I love it.
Yeah. So
what way to start the school year?
The Broward County School Board's been under investigation for a couple of years because of just total fucking lack of, like, I'm sorry, let me look at the headline today. The headline today is this, they did an investigation into the school board for the years that they were serving under, what's his name? Robert Runcie as the superintendent.
Yes.
So this
and it's the best thing is that they brought Runcie in because he was the superintendent over finance, like in Chicago, and they brought him in because like all the money was screwed in Broward, and like let's bring in this expert, right?
Yeah, they had this $500 million bond to like fix all the schools,
and then it's a mess again under this guy.
So
like,
Runcie comes in,
no one can right the ship.
Runcie comes in and he's got a board sitting there, the school board sitting there.
Yeah.
Well, they were all like patting each other on the back and like totally not, none of the schools are fixed.
No.
It's taking years and years to get anything done. It's so much fucking red tape. It's a goddamn disaster, and people have fucking had it, right? So they get this grand jury to investigate like what's been happening, all this stuff.
And people have been waiting for this. Yeah. They've been waiting for the grand jury report
drops yesterday. Oh. And not only do they do all this investigation and lay out like here's where all the information we looked at, here's all what we have. They give recommendations about what they think. Now Runcie's already out. Runcie's been out for about a year and a half or something.
About it, yeah.
But and that was a push to get these ladies that were sitting up there with him as his allies to get them to get him the fuck out, right? Like that was a whole thing. But he got arrested. Remember?
He did.
He got arrested. So
he lied. I think because he lied about the testimony. And the thing is, again, you have people that know that they are involved in something. Yeah. And instead of doing what is right for the people, the students, the staff of those in Broward County public schools, instead of saying, you know what, I better resign, right? Yeah. Especially those that are up for re-election. Fine, you want to see your term out? Don't run for re-election. But they don't have any sense of... They have a high sense of self. They are only thinking about themselves. Yeah. And it's so... just baffling to me every time. So
with this recommendation, there are a couple who said they're not going to run for re-election. Oh. But this is before this came out. They said they weren't going to run again. But the title, what they said in there is there's incompetence and neglect of duty. And they recommend that fucking Donna Corn, Osgood, who's already out and now is sitting Florida State Senator.
Hi.
She just won a special election. She's now off the school board for incompetence and neglect. Now she's sitting in the state senate.
Hashtag because Florida.
Oh my God.
Patty
Good, Patricia Good, Lori Rich Levinson, and Anne Murray, who's an old fucking racist. This is another one we should cover, Anne Murray. They recommend that all 5 of them get thrown off the fucking board. And Corn is the only one running for re-election. So I think
she is.
Levinson and Anne Murray said they're not going to run again.
Yeah. Because, okay, good. They have some sense.
Yeah. But they have fucked this whole thing up.
If I lived in any other state, I think maybe I would, be somewhat amused at the complete train wreck of a state that Florida is. But when you live in Florida, it's like, I'm laughing, but it's like if we don't laugh about just like the constant corruption and just insanity that happens in our politics week after week, we don't get it. It's almost like living like the whole 2016, up to 2020, but in a smaller scale in Florida. It never ends for us in Florida.
By the way,
never ends. And we are in a cycle of insanity.
But even
again, hashtag because Florida.
Yeah, and also we have not talked about what's happening to the Broward Sheriff. I mean, there is so much happening with Sheriff Tony. Like, it's fucking insane.
Yeah, I mean, right, that's a whole other episode.
I'll have to cover him and just keep everybody up to date about what's happening.
Yeah.
But today. Now, this is one of those.
Let me relax.
This is one of those that, you feel bad covering it.
Uh-oh.
It's a Hastings kind of thing, where you're like, everybody loves him, he's beloved, and you're like, all right, well, but there's all this other shit that you have to talk about.
Tell me it all.
So today,
I need this.
I'm covering U.S. House Rep John Conyers.
Woo!
And everybody should know who he is. He's been there, he was there forever, he was serving for a long time, we'll get into that, but like, civil rights fighter and all of these things that were like really great, and then like Me Too hits and it's like bye.
Yeah, I mean
like they clean the fucking house. speaking of that, I want to say something else because my mother keeps bringing this up, and I'm going to say it to you guys, and then I'll say it to my mother. We need to stop talking about Al Franken being a victim here, okay? I didn't realize this, but when I was looking up this story and looking up like sexual harassment, sexual assault, or whatever for like politicians, which is how I like look for stories sometimes. 8 women accused Al Franken of inappropriate behavior or like words or like language, whatever, like around them and made them feel uncomfortable. So let's not talk about it's just this picture, because that's what my mom always said. They just got that picture.
Right, from like Saturday Night Live or something.
There was 8 women. So Al Franken is not a victim. Yes. He should have left.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I don't want to hear about he's a victim of Me Too. No. Get the fuck out. Bye.
We just have to, like, we really need to believe women.
Yeah.
And are there going to be cases where it's shenanigans? Maybe, right?
Yeah.
In everything, there's always going to be that.
Of course.
But for the most part, we need to, like, we still have a culture of harassment.
Yeah.
We still have a culture of harassment. It's not like just because these laws are in place that suddenly they disappear. Mm-hmm. And the thing like the in the state of Florida, when you have like the Stop Woke Act, that also impacts employers, like at the state level, on how they can teach tolerance and these different things about gender inequity and all of that. So it's not just about curriculum in schools. Like, there's a larger impact, and that's why these things need to happen, so that we don't have what was in the 50s and 60s and 70s and 80s and 90s, early 2000s for women. And it's going to take a long time.
Yeah. Go watch Netflix.
Deprogram.
Yeah. Go watch Netflix Woodstock 99. They do a whole thing about these women who were assaulted there and stuff. But there's a whole conversation. I watched it with my daughter. There's a whole conversation about, you know, there's a lot of uproar about like Me Too or like being woke about sexual assault or whatever, harassment. But where we were in 99, which wasn't that fucking long ago. All right. What was it? 20 years? 40 years? Where were we? 20 years?
20. Yeah.
Where we were 20 years ago is huge. We made huge leaps and bounds compared to where we are now. I mean, we should be a little bit more aware that and feel that our daughters will have a voice and not be afraid to be like, my employer shouldn't be touching me. Right. You know what I mean? Like, we shouldn't have to be dealing with that. Right. Like we had to.
And again, it's not gone from the workplace, but those things are in place so that, again, it may be in 20 years. Yeah. Right? When our kids are grown, because they have been from the beginning within this mindset of what is appropriate and what is not, and what is consent and what is not. Like, that's how things change. It's not an overnight thing. And then you throw these bills up there to derail any progress. It's ridiculous.
We got it. It's okay, 27 minutes.
We got to go. Sorry, we're going.
Is your story long?
It's not that long.
She always says that, but then it's long. Okay. Yeah. So John Conyers was born and raised in Detroit on May 16th, 1929. Ooh. After graduating from Northwestern High School, Conyers served in the Michigan National Guard from 1948 to 50. He served in the U.S. Army from 1950 to 54 and in the U.S. Army Reserves from 1954 to 57. Conyers served for a year in Korea during the Korean War as an officer in the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers and was awarded combat and merit citations. After his active military service, he pursued a college education. He earned his BA in 1957 and a Bachelor of Law degree in 1958 from Wayne State University. He also was admitted, so then he was admitted to the bar, and he worked on behalf of the staff of Congressman John Dingle.
Dangle.
Hey. Sorry. He also served as, you better write it down. Write down Dingle. He also served as counsel to several Detroit area labor union locals. So he became one of the leaders of the civil rights movement. He was present in Selma, Alabama on October 7th, 1963 for the voter registration drive, now known as Freedom Day. And then he runs for office, right? In 1964, he runs for an open seat in what was then the 1st District and defeated Republican Robert Blackwell with 84% of the vote. Yes. In total, Conyers won re-election 25 times and was serving in his 26th term when he resigned. A total of 52 years.
It's too much. Like, I mean, good for you for the good things that you did. Years. But it's too long. It's too long. It's too long. Like, you know, I think some people might be like, wow, you know, like, look at this life of service, but it's too long. It's too much. Other people needed to have a chance in that seat.
Yeah. He was and also, we'll find out about him. Here's the thing. When you find out what he was up to think he was in that position of power for that long and how many women were affected because, and they didn't say anything because of if he's first elected in 1964, there ain't no fucking Me Too.
No.
Like, there's nothing.
No.
These women either take it or they fucking quit.
God, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s.
Yeah, like the decades that he's in office and has the opportunity to use his position in power and his position over other people to create this environment of fucking toxic,
And the more that he's doing it, the more comfortable, I'm sure.
Yeah, of course, because he feels like he's going to get away with it, right? So he was the dean of the House as the longest-serving current member, the third longest-serving member of the House in history, and the sixth longest-serving member of Congress in history. Ooh. He was the second longest-serving member of either House of Congress in Michigan's history, trailing only his former boss, Dingle. He was also the last member of the large Democratic freshman class of 1964 who was still serving in the House.
So that's a problem.
Yeah. So a little bit about his time in office. He was one of the 13 founding members of the Congressional Black Caucus and was considered the dean of that group. Formed in 1969, the CBC was founded to strengthen African American lawmakers' ability to address the legislative concerns of Black and minority citizens. Wonderful, we're here for this. He served longer in Congress than any other African American. In 1971, he was one of the original members of Nixon's enemies list.
Ooh,
love this.
I mean,
in 1965, he won a seat as a freshman on the influential Judiciary Committee, which then was chaired by Democratic Congressman Emanuel Seller of New York. He ends up being like the chair of that when he finally resigns.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, this is all really good stuff.
I know. The assignment was considered an elite one, right? As the judiciary ranked above, or only behind the Ways and Means and Appropriations, which is money, in terms of the number of members who sought the assignment there. After the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr. in 1968, Conyers introduced the first bill in Congress to make King's birthday a federal holiday. Now, we already know that our friend Jesse Helms was fighting against that the whole time he was there. He continued to propose legislation to establish the federal holiday in every session of Congress from 1968 to 83, when Martin Luther King Jr. Day was finally signed into law by President Ronald Reagan. All right, Reagan, get it, bitch.
I mean, wow, you did something.
Yeah. Besides the jelly beans. Nasty! Where are my beans? Conyers introduced the Commission to Study Reparation Proposals for African Americans Act, H.R. 3745, in January 1989. Again, I'm here for this. Mm-hmm. He reintroduced the bill each congressional term. It calls for establishing a commission to research the history of slavery in the United States and its effects on current society, which has recommended ways to remedy the injustice against African Americans. Why is that not a good thing?
Let's do it. Wonderful thing.
Yeah. The current version was introduced and referred to committee on January 3rd, 2013. It still hasn't gone anywhere.
Right.
Conyers first introduced the proposed resolution, like I said, in 1989, and has stated his intention to annually propose the act until it was approved and passed. Since 1997, the bill has been designated H.R. 40, most recently H.R. 40, alluding to the promise of 40 acres and a mule.
I mean, but the reparations is, I think, an important conversation that we need to have. And there are many different people and organizations who have outlined different types of ways of that this can be implemented. Yeah. And I don't think it's about, you know what I mean? Like, because people are still feeling the impact of, of all of this, right?
Yeah. Slavery, Jim Crow, all of that. If passed, the commission would explore the long-standing effects of slavery on today's society, politics, and economy. He said, quote, "My bill does four things. It acknowledges the fundamental injustice and humanity of slavery. It establishes a commission to study slavery, its subsequent racial and economic discrimination against free slaves. It studies the impact of those forces on today's living African Americans, and the commission would then make recommendations to Congress on appropriate remedies to redress the harm inflicted on living African Americans," end quote. Sounds great.
Yeah. I mean...
So, he was called the most liberal Democrat in Congress, which, we're fucking here for, honey. We want you to be liberal. We want you to be left, right?
Yes.
But, every man's got their thing. And woman, I guess. I mean, a bit of a pizza freak myself. I don't know. I have some other kinks, but it's not appropriate for this.
What is his kink?
Podcast. Oh, no, there's no kink.
Oh, I thought
but he's a douche. I mean, let's get into it. Okay, so, in 2015, a former employee...
2015? How old is he?
Old.
Dang.
In 2015, a former employee of Conyers alleged that he had sexually harassed her and then dismissed her. She filed an affidavit with the Congressional Office of Compliance. Conyers had entered into a confidentiality agreement with the former employee and had paid her $27,000 settlement from his publicly funded office budget in 2015.
What? Wait, can you even do that?
This isn't, but this is what they would do. This is what they would do. They would
That's how they hide
always
it, right?
do this. Yeah, they would always pay off with the money from the office.
Must be
this
nice.
This happened a lot.
Must be nice to do what you want and really not pay for it and have us pay for it.
Yeah, we pay for it. Yeah, publicly funded.
Wow. So not only are you screwing over these women, you're screwing over your constituents.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So the woman who received the $27,000 confidentiality agreement or settlement, Marion Brown, described to NBC's Today her accusations against Conyers, and she said, quote, violating my body, propositioning me, inviting me to hotels with the guise of discussing business, which sounds like a Weinstein thing, right?
Yes.
And then propositioning for sex. He just violated my body. He has touched me in different ways, and it was very uncomfortable and very unprofessional.
And she's coming out in 2015, and he's some old...
He's been there since the 60s.
Yes.
How many women, Brown said she came forward because she wants, quote, to be a voice, end quote, and so that her granddaughter would not have to endure sexism and gender inequality. I thought it was worth the risk to stand up for all the women in the workforce that are voiceless.
Yes.
Fucking A. What a hero this woman is. A hero.
Because, women who ever come forward, the women are scrutinized.
Yeah.
Because men can have all the sexual escapades that they want.
Right.
But God forbid a woman does. To this day.
Yes. Absolutely.
To this day, women are still shamed for being sexual.
Yeah. So good for her, right? Yeah. So BuzzFeed reported on the allegations and settlement on November 20th, 2017. BuzzFeed also reported allegations that Conyers, quote, repeatedly made sexual advances to female staff and, quote, caressed female staffers' hands in a sexual manner and rubbed their backs and legs in public.
Ew. Oh, just stop touching people.
And also, there's this thing about how,
God.
Don't you know you're an old man? Don't you
even if you're a young man, but
I know, but you know
worse.
what I mean?
It's even worse.
It's like he's not aware of his, what are you doing?
And then touching the hand in a sexual way,
No. On November 21st, 2017, Conyers issued a statement in which he said, quote,
let's hear it.
In our country, we strive to honor this fundamental principle that all are entitled to due process. In this case, I expressly and vehemently denied the allegations made against me and continue to do so. My office resolved the allegations with an express denial of liability in order to save all involved from the rigors of protracted litigation, end quote. So basically, we paid her off, but it's not because I'm guilty, bitch.
Oh, we took care of it, all right? Yeah. We gave her money.
We didn't want a whole lawsuit. It's just to muddy the waters, so we're not going to do that.
And, he's a lawyer, right? So he's got that beautiful statement.
Yeah.
Wow.
Also on November 21st, 2017, the House Ethics Committee launched an investigation into multiple sexual harassment allegations against Conyers. So now it's the heat's coming, right?
Yeah.
Now he knows he's in trouble. You can't just pay people off and the whole house is going to fucking disappear. It's over, right? And also, on the next day, on November 22nd, 2017, the Washington Post reported that Melanie Sloan, founder of Citizens for Responsible and Ethics in Washington, publicly accused Conyers of having harassed and verbally abused her during her tenure working for the House Judiciary Committee.
Oh my God.
On one occasion, Sloan alleged that Conyers had summoned her to his office, where she found him sitting in his underwear. And she quickly, departed. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Hello.
Oh, and then you have to think, was he in tighty whities? Was he in boxers?
For sure.
Was he in regular boxers?
No, regular boxers,
no doubt. Ew.
With his little...
Oh! Dingle Dangle.
Dingle Dangle. Just write it down. It's the title. Okay. So later in November 2017, there were reports that another woman accused Conyers of sexual harassment. House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi, this fucking one, who had initially stated that Conyers was an icon and had done a great deal to protect women. Now this is when it all first came out. She was I'm not discussing this. Right. He's a hero, basically. Yeah. He does so much for women.
Now she scales it back.
Now all these people come out and she's like, all right, maybe you should resign. Yeah. Maybe you should get the fuck out.
If you backpedal any farther, Pelosi, you're going to be out the door.
He never touched my leg.
Yeah.
Well, I always felt comfortable around him.
Oh. Sorry, Pelosi.
I hate to tell you, honey. She said that. What a bitch. I mean, she does this all the time. Remember how she treated Katie Hill?
Oh my God.
Bitch. She's a fucking traitor. She's a traitor to women.
And this is the thing that I want, and I know I pointed out, I feel like I say it all the time, but here's the big thing between like the crazy Trump people and like normal, like, Democrats, I guess.
We can say
that. We can say that. We can look at people who are in it. Like, you guys all hate Nancy Pelosi. We're not thrilled with her either. Yeah, we can recognize the faults of people and say she needs to get the hell out.
One name, Henry Cuellar.
Oh my God.
That's all I have to say about Nancy Pelosi. In the days leading up to Roe being overturned, she's out stumping.
Yeah, for a pro-life person. That's you guys should love. You guys should actually love Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah, she's all for you. You fucking jokes. It was probably her idea to give money to extreme or right wingers.
Yeah, that's probably she's part of.
I know what will suit you guys. She'll give all the money to the right wing extremists.
Oh my God.
My earring falls off in the middle of a press conference. Where's my best friend, Sleepy Joe? Fucking sleepy motherfucker. Oh, I'm sorry. I did want to mention one thing before we finish the fucking Conyers. Did you see our friend Sleepy Joe signing that bill this week and leans over to give a pen to Manchin? Whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Is it Joe Manchin?
Joe Manchin, yeah.
Leans over, gives him a pen, and smiles like this, and gives him a handshake and like a wink to Joe Manchin. One of the fucking worst motherfuckers.
Well, I think it's because
the Democrats can't get.
I think it's because of the whole climate bill.
Climate. This motherfucker owns coal. Am I crazy? Am I fucking nuts to say West Virginia coal fucking owner? This guy's out of his fucking mind. And we're shaking. This is the guy we should be putting up on the fucking, tying him up and lighting him on fire. No, all right, I can't say these. These are things you can't joke about anymore.
Yeah. Am I cutting that?
No, don't cut it. Because of January 6th, I can't threaten fucking people being
no, we're not threatening.
Tied up and
burned. No. We're saying it's symbolic.
Joe Manchin and fucking Kristen Sinema are the two fucking Democrats in the U.S. Senate who are stopping us from actually getting work done, from protecting women's rights.
Right. But I think
gun control.
I'm going to play the devil's advocate, and I think it's because of that bill that went forward, that they made their little deal, which, I'm going to take the little win, but I agree. He shouldn't have been there. He shouldn't have been there. Yeah, he shouldn't be in that seat.
Stop giving him prominence. It was him and two other people standing there behind Biden. That motherfucker should not have been there. Stop elevating him.
Yeah.
He is a menace to this party. He's a menace to the people of the United States of America. We elected all of these Democrats to get a job done, to pass the fucking things that we believe in, to turn the fucking ship around or straighten up the ship. And we got Joe Manchin and Sinema tying cinder blocks to our feet. Fuck out of here with this bullshit. Anyway, Sleepy Joe. Okay, so she asked this douche to fucking resign, and then she said the allegations against him were very credible because apparently she got on the phone with one of these accusers, and the woman told her the whole story, and she's like, "Oh shit," right? Like, oops. Yeah. On December 5th, 2017, Conyers resigned his House seat because of the mounting sexual scandals. The announcement came the day after former staffer released an affidavit accusing Conyers of sexual harassment, another woman. The same day, an article by the Washington Post published allegations by Courtney Morse that Conyers had threatened her with a similar fate to that of Chandra Levy, a staffer found murdered in a park in Washington, D.C. Great, I covered that. Go listen to that story. She said that after...
Oh my God.
Yeah, she said that after she rejected his advances, he said, quote, he had insider information on the case. I don't know if he meant it to be threatening, but I took it that way, end quote.
Yeah.
After she was like, wow, I don't want your old wrinkled dick.
Wow.
He's like, maybe you.
No, it's unacceptable.
Yeah.
That is, wow.
Yeah. At a time when the Me Too movement was pushing for action against men who harassed women, some media and supporters in Detroit believed Conyers had been unfairly treated. He was reported as, quote, the first sitting politician to be ousted from office in the wake of the Me Too movement, end quote. Finally, on December 5th, 2017, Conyers sent a letter of resignation to House Majority Leader Paul Ryan and House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi, resigning from his seat. It simply read, quote, I have made the decision to retire from my position as the member of the United States House of Representatives from Michigan's 13th Congressional District, effective today, end quote. That's it.
And he's like 80-something years old, like 87, 88 years old. 88 years old!
Yeah.
Why is he even there? He should have been out 20 years ago.
Yep.
Honestly.
I know. He died October 27th, 2019 at his home in Detroit. He was 90 years old. That's the end of the story, but I just want to say too, like, I could cover his wife because she was like on this Detroit commission and she was fucking wrapped up in, so she went to jail.
What?
Like, there's fucking scandal
you have to do it. You gotta do it. You gotta do it.
You
gotta do it.
Yeah. All right, so that's it. John Conyers.
All right. Well, are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so today I am going to tell you the story of former Colorado House Rep Gordon Klingenschmitt.
Girl, you find these names.
All right, so evangelical activist.
Oh, no!
Gordon Klingenschmitt.
I'm already fucking mad.
Won a seat in the Colorado House of Representatives in 2014. But it's his fanatical views that spark controversy. And boy, oh boy. So this isn't, this story is a little
Wait, what year was he elected?
2014.
Okay, so not that long ago.
Not that long ago. So our story takes place in Colorado Springs, Colorado. And this is a little different. Usually I end up covering something that has like, a trial. And this is just a guy who's a piece of garbage. He's just horrible, in my opinion.
Okay.
All right. So we're going to kind of look at some of the things he said and did throughout his career that just make him a mucky jerk of a guy. All right. So Klingenschmitt was a graduate of the Naval Academy and later earned his MBA, followed by a PhD in theology. And then he served in the Air Force from 1991 until 2002. And then he served as a military chaplain in the Navy until 2006, where he was honorably discharged. And I'll talk a little bit about that in a sec here. So Klingenschmitt, really from the beginning, seems to be, like, of his career, seems to be a bit of an extremist. His discharge had to do with his participation in a protest while wearing his Navy uniform. So he struggled as a chaplain in the Navy because they wanted him to have prayer that was like more inclusive of all denominations, right? And not just like about Jesus, you know what I mean? Because there's Jewish people and there's like, when you're a chaplain, it's not like you are of one, you're not promoting one faith, right? You're kind of like trying to include all people. Supposed to. Yeah. And he felt like it diminished his work in some way to have to like follow what the Navy is outlining. Yeah. And so the protest was really about, according to the Gazette, quote, taking a stand to allow prayers in the name of Jesus.
But it's like, don't you know going into that job that not everybody who's serving with you is your religion? Yeah. Like, don't you kind of know that?
Who knows?
Isn't there like a base level you can stay at?
I don't know.
And be religious and kind of like give everybody faith? Like, isn't that what it's about? Why does that have to be so fucking extreme?
I know, and like, oh, your way is the only way.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's really fucking wrong.
It's
religion.
Incredible.
I mean, what are you gonna do? This is what it is. This is what happens.
Yeah, but not all religious folks are like that. You know what I mean?
That's true.
So the Virginian pilot noted that he was told in writing not to wear his uniform during any media events without permission. And when he showed up to do this protest where he was like fasting and doing this whole thing, he's like in his full Navy gear, and they're like, bye, and like, you're out.
Oh.
So Klingenschmitt, though he was born into a Catholic family, he became a born-again Christian in the 80s and has been noticed as this evangelical activist. And like that's sort of like how he's, when I read articles about him, like that's what they say. And he had this program, and I believe it's like one of those YouTube channels.
Oh God.
That was called Pray in Jesus' Name. That's his channel, and boy does he say so many wonderful things on that channel.
No.
So some of the things he said on his show, according to Westword's Michael Roberts, he claimed the Bible, quote, commands people to own guns in order to defend themselves against left-wing crazies. Did you know that? Did you know that was in the Bible?
What is going on? What is going on? You know, being into this religion and like studying the Bible and like learning about. You know, I saw a funny tweet today. It was like, you still go to court and they make you put your hand on this, like, it was your sister-in-law put it up on Facebook. Yeah. It's like, you know, they put you on a book about ghost stories that were written by inbred drunks and like fucking, you know, like, we're still having to swear to God in the courtroom on this fucking old
In God
fucking
we trust.
shit book that humans wrote, right? Like, it's so fucking insane.
It's insane.
It's insane. And like, here he is, and now he's using that same fucking the ghost stories in this book to what? Tell people to fucking shoot people, liberals?
It's crazy.
What the fuck?
It doesn't make any sense. And then he also said that the FCC is, quote, allowing demonic spirits to molest and visually rape your children.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard similar things to this
in
my own fucking home.
Oh my God.
That was lovely.
The Gazette also reported that Klingenschmitt was known for his, outrageous claims about politicians. And for example, he compared Barack Obama to a demon. And then another news source, Westward, noted that he had this to say about Obama, quote, Obama is an imposter. He is a liar, and he causes cancer through his policies. Oh. And Rachel Maddow reported that he actually tried to do an exorcism of Obama.
Here's the thing.
Can you imagine?
No, but I just love this idea that you're so wacky that
you think that you can exorcise the demonic spirit possessing Barack Obama.
Yeah, but he's so wild that he doesn't give a fuck anymore.
But what realm of reality are you in? What realm of reality?
There's no reality. That's the thing that's so funny about it. It's like he doesn't even understand that people aren't looking at you now going, wow, I wonder if it's so deep, the things you're saying. They're looking at you going, he needs help. Like there's something wrong with him. But he doesn't understand that. That's so insane to me. And because of where we are in our lives and in this world and social media and all this, he can put for free for millions of people to view
this channel,
his mental illness. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, and people will watch it, and some will go, and some will go, wow, he's a genius. Yeah. Like he's fantastic.
He's saying everything I'm thinking.
Yeah. So maybe he is a demon.
Yeah. Then he put forward, he would also send out like newsletters and stuff to the people who subscribe and whatnot.
Lovely.
And in one of his newsletters, he compared Colorado Rep. Jared Polis to ISIS. And he went so far to say that Polis would, am I saying that right? Is it Polis?
Yeah, it's right.
Would participate in beheading Christians. Now, the Gazette noted that this newsletter came out after Polis put a bill forward that would add employment protections for sexual orientation or gender identity. So this rep is trying to put forward a bill, right? You can disagree with a bill, but to then, put forward that this person who is putting forward this bill is going to behead Christians and is like ISIS, again, like these extremist, violent views. What are you doing?
I think he went on to be the first elected gay governor.
I think so.
Yeah, in Colorado, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's no surprise that Klingenschmitt is one of the most vile anti-gay politicians that we've had, right? Like that's, got to be understood, even though he did not serve for a long time, but he just would continually spout like this bigotry and hatred. And he made headlines when the Boy Scouts announced that they would permit gay scout leaders. And he had this to say, according to Bolin's Westward article, quote, if your boy is in one of those organizations, you should get him out of there. It will lead to child abuse. Because again, he's perpetuating that idea of pedophilia, right? Which is not true. Mm-mm. But that's what he's putting forward again on this Pray Jesus channel, whatever he has. And
but here's the thing though with the Boy Scouts, because I have a lot of issues with the Boy Scouts, a lot of fucking issues of my own personal experience with the Boy Scouts. I think is fucking horrendous. But I think that they shouldn't have to make that announcement either. Like just have people be Boy Scout leaders.
Yeah. Like why are we again the privacy issue? Why are we digging into it's nobody's business?
No. And the troop that we were in, that my son was in at one point, he's about to start another troop, which I'm for because he enjoys it. Like it is a good thing for my son. He fucking loves it. And so does his father. Like they enjoy doing it. It's a great thing for them to do.
Because
it's a great thing for them to do together. Now they have rules now. You can't go scouting. You can't go camping without one parent. So there's always a parent with their child. Like there's all kinds of things that they put in place to stop this kind of stuff from happening. But there was a boy in the troop who had two fathers. And so like if one of those fathers wants to be a troop leader, why does there have to be an announcement about it? Like it's so ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Just let families have this experience together. You don't have to like pat yourself on the back or whatever. Or like even when they let girls in. They let girls into the Boy Scouts. Now it's just, I think it's just called Scouts, the Scouts.
I don't know.
Like it's so ridiculous. And they are on par with the Catholic Church on denying the things that happen to children, boys in the Scouts for decades and decades. Yeah, it's fucking crazy. And they deny, and then they have to now be on the defense all the time and like praise themselves for being fucking whatever, doing and the right thing.
And the problem is you have people like Klingenschmitt who, because of his crazy sort of extremist religious views, and on that Jesus show, he actually said that there are evil spirits compelling gay people to attack Christians.
It's so dumb.
And Talroe cited an excerpt from the program where he says, quote, there is a spirit of persecution that is coming out of this homosexual movement, and it's not enough that they get weddings in their own private churches. They want to come to your church. They want to come to your business. They might even come to your home. If you're a bed and breakfast owner, they'll come right into your home and demand to have sex in your guest bedroom. There's nothing you can do, they say, to deny them service because they have a right to violate your freedom. Oh my God, they're coming for the guest bedrooms. The gays are knocking at the door. We want to have sex in your guest bedroom.
Who do you think is the number one customer of bed and breakfasts in America? Who do you think their number one customer is?
Oh my God.
Gays. They want to stay at your cute bed and breakfast. Like, let them. What are you talking about?
It's so stupid. They want to come and have sex in your bedroom. Guess what? Heterosexual people have sex in bed and breakfast guest rooms too.
But that's okay. They're okay with that.
Yeah.
They're okay with that. He's okay with heterosexual having sex.
So
it's not about
stupid.
the sex. It's about who's having it.
It is so stupid. So at another point, he claimed
Can someone just touch his dick already so he can be distracted from the nonsense? He needs to come quickly.
So he claimed that gay people had lost their souls because demons have infested their bodies.
Oh, so demons are everywhere.
Just as a reminder, he was sitting in a state house seat and he's putting forth legislation. He's voting on things. Like, this is why we need to vet people who are running. Like someone needs to vet these people and really like put it out there. Like, do you realize who you are electing?
Well, didn't you hear? The Broward Democratic Party is going to do that.
Oh.
You have to be involved with the party for 2 years on some level to be christened with their endorsement. I'm sorry, it's not their endorsement. They just put your picture next to the other Democrat on their slate card. They don't endorse shit. Woo. And then God forbid, I put a post up. I had to hear from everybody, which some of the people I love, some of them I was just like buff on ghoul, right? But even Emma was getting calls about me putting this post up. But here's the thing. You don't endorse anybody. You have no endorsement process. You can't say, here's the Democrats, pick one. Where's the direction? Where's the leadership on this? And what's the criteria for involvement in the party for 2 years? Yeah. I was told it could be you're in a club or caucus for 2 years as a member. But there was a lot of people elected in 2020, good fucking candidates who were not personally involved in the party for 2 years before having the audacity to run for office and not getting the blessing of the Broward Democratic Party. You motherfuckers don't do shit. Woo! Fuck off. If you actually fucking did something, they had a press conference this week saying all of their plans for the election. The primary is on Tuesday. Where have you been for 2 years? Can I ask that question? Am I the only one baffled by this? Where have you been for 2 years? What have you been doing? What have you been doing?
I mean, for this primary,
here comes Tina.
I know. Me with the devil's advocate.
Yeah, devil
advocate. They have been.
Well, that's because you go to those meetings. You try to see what's going on.
See what's going on, and they do put out the emails like, "Hey, we need your help. We're doing this, or come to this poll, or and they are trying to push to get people to participate. I will say that.
But people who are on their mailing list,
right?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What are they doing about people who aren't involved in politics and don't go to their meetings? What are they doing?
Yeah, I mean, they have like the phone banking. I mean, I think they are trying to set something up.
Anyway,
hi.
vetting candidates. Yes.
Woo! All right, so look, he has said a lot of horrible things, but one thing that landed him a lot of negative press and some tiny bit of political consequence was a comment he made while serving as House Rep. So, and this is a horrible, so really a trigger warning.
Oh no.
This I was like, wow, what a piece of garbage this man is, because of what he did and how he tried to use this situation for his own political commentary.
Oh God.
So in 2015, March 2015, there was a horrible incident that happened to a pregnant woman in Colorado. So this woman was viciously attacked by a stranger. So she went on, you may have heard of this, like she went on Craigslist. She was 7 months pregnant and she was looking for, like baby gear and things like that. And this woman was like, oh, I have a stroller. I don't remember what the item was.
No.
And she goes to the woman's house and she was stabbed in her stomach. The baby was cut from her womb. And it was horrific. Like the baby, she ended up in the hospital. The baby died. And the woman who was involved in this was faking her pregnancy for months and like wanted this to take the baby to say it was her own. Oh my God. And then that woman ended up in jail for like, I think 100 years. Like they but so this thing happens, horrific, right? And most people would have your reaction of like, this is horrific. This is terrible, right? It's such a terrible story. But Klingenschmitt used this woman's tragedy to try and make a commentary on abortion.
What?
And he said on his Jesus program that, this happened to that woman because, quote, this is the curse of God upon America for our sin of not protecting innocent children in the womb. And part of that curse for our rebellion against God as a nation is that our pregnant women are ripped open. So God had this happen to the woman because we allow abortion. So now a good innocent pregnant woman had her baby ripped from her.
Oh my God.
And can you imagine being this woman and her family and now the news is about this jerk off talking about her. I couldn't even imagine.
It's like Pat Robertson. Pat Robertson said 9/11 happened because of gays. Because of our acceptance of gays.
I mean, what kind of monster?
It's fucking wild.
What kind of monster would use that tragedy?
Oh my God. It was, no, dude. No,
I mean, it was so bad that even his fellow Colorado GOP were appalled by the statement. Like they were like, yo, like you're even going a little too far for us. Lynn Bartels of the Denver Post reported reactions from some colleagues. Rep. Beth McCann, who happens to be a Democrat, said, Rep. Klingenschmitt is politicizing a terrible human tragedy. The statement was incredibly insensitive to a family that has been through an unimaginable, horrific experience. Republican Polly Lawrence said, Gordon does not speak for his caucus. So obviously there are no charges here, but he was removed from the committee, the Health Insurance and Environment Committee, by then Colorado House Minority Leader Republican Brian Delgros, who stated, quote, there needed to be some kind of disciplinary action. This is one of the few tools I have in my toolbox, and this seemed like the appropriate course of action. So they strip him. P.S. He was off the committee for like 3 weeks.
What? What?
And
how is that
punishment?
It's like just to cover his ass.
Yeah, it's just. So as a result of the committee removal, Bartels of the Denver Post reported that Klingenschmitt suspended his programming on that Jesus program for 6 weeks because it, quote, overshadowed his work as a state congressman. He also apologized.
I would say it's the other way around. Your work as a congressman is overshadowing your beautiful video YouTube work.
Like you should have just resigned.
Yeah.
Suspended your time in your seat. How about that?
Jesus.
So he apologized and donated some money to the victim, but he also said that, quote, I will not quit either job, but for now I'm 100% devoted to representing the voters of House District 15. Okay, buddy.
Wow.
So his apology, as reported in the Denver Post, quote, my words were wrong, my tone was wrong, my choice of scripture was wrong, everything I did about that report was wrong, and honestly, I apologize to you, Michelle Wilkins, I apologize to you, the viewers, I apologize to the voters and constituents in Colorado Springs. So in 2016, he runs for a state Senate seat instead of rerunning for that House seat, and he loses in the primary by a landslide, so yay. So it seems that Colorado has had enough of this guy.
I mean, how much can you? I wish that would work here. I wish that would do. We have House reps in Florida who say wild fucking things.
Crazy.
Can you guys please in your district get rid of these motherfuckers?
Oh my God. So a few points of interest. A Colorado Republican, Laura Carno, stated she started a Facebook page when he was a rep. So this was another Republican who started a page about him called Conservatives Against Gordon Klingenschmitt. So, like, you've got to be really hated and horrible for the other conservatives to hate you.
Wow.
But, like, can we get something like that in Florida?
Yeah, we need to see that.
Please.
And do it on Facebook, because that's where all those GOP, right-wing fucking nuts are. Ginny Thomas and her fucking groups. They're all on Facebook.
They're all on Facebook, yeah. So, even though he apologized for the horrific statement following the attack on Michelle Wilkins, he sent out a pissed-off email regarding the committee removal. Quote, I am literally being punished for quoting unpopular Bible verses in my Sunday church or interpreting the Old Testament differently than Leader Del Grosso interprets it during my private ministry outside the Capitol. Is that suddenly a crime?
What in the fuck? So he doesn't understand. He didn't get it, really.
No. Then he tried to run for a city council seat in 2019.
My God.
But he lost. Like, it's done.
Yeah.
It's done for you.
You're
no one likes you anymore.
No. You know who likes you? Jesus.
Yeah.
So go pray with Jesus.
And the other
I'm sure
thing,
he talks to you.
A couple other things I thought were funny is, because remember he got his PhD. So he went, when he was in like the Navy, he went by the nickname Dr. Chaps while in the Navy.
Ew.
So I'm assuming PhD in chaplain, Dr. Chaps.
Or
he likes to wear chaps.
Naked.
So I think that's funny for the Mr. Like evangelical activist, Dr. Chaps.
Yeah, that's George Costanza's porn name.
Yes.
Naked.
Oh my God. And then the last thing is Ted Cruz.
No.
Reportedly was honored to have the support of Klingenschmitt. So of course he was. Of course he was like, yeah, this guy's great. I'm so honored to have like an endorsement from him. And that's it. That's the story of this like scumbag Klingenschmitt.
Wow.
The end.
Tina.
Like, I'm over it. I'm over that these people get to sit and I respect the process, right? That, you know, anyone should be able to run, but really again that vetting process like there needs to be something done here. Because it just seems like the loudest, most obnoxious voice gets the vote, and it's
wow. But also, like, you know, it depends on where they're from. If you're from a conservative area and they like those kinds of things that he's saying, they're going to vote for him. Because those people exist.
That the whole, like, the evangelical piece just confuses me, because it's like if you're for Jesus, right? Like, your words and your actions do not demonstrate what the stories in your book say.
Yeah.
But
don't you think there's like this? There's a lighter side of being religious where it is about doing good and Jesus' work, and
turning the other cheek.
You know, being there for other people, supporting people,
clothing
like
the poor,
kindness.
helping.
Yes. And then there's people who use it for dark shit.
Yeah.
Like dark. Like, why would you ever say to someone there's a demon inside of them?
Oh my God.
Like, it's just so wild to me that you would say that to another person. There's a demon inside of them,
or the fact that this man actually try to have do an exorcism.
Yeah.
Like, how do you even do that? Like, I don't even know. Like, I should go back and try to find the video of him
exorcist. Doing. Like, that's my only experience with an exorcism.
The power of Christ compels you.
Yeah.
The power of Christ compels you.
If there's a demon inside of you, what do you think it's for? Like, what is your thing that your demon would be for?
Oh, I don't know. My demon. I'd have to think about that. Christ compels you. Oh my God.
The power of
All
Christ.
Right. Is that it?
Oh my God.
So
I think that's it. We've got a lot of.
We'll have some videos.
We have to create a lot of content today.
Woo! We're getting it busy.
I'm so old. I can't believe I just said, I've got to create content today for Instagram.
Because we're amazing.
We're so good.
We're so hip.
Oh my God. By the way, I'm going to go early vote today. That's right. I'm going to do that for my Instagram. What do you think about that?
I did that last week. And
Nikki Fried, bitch.
Hi, Nikki Fried. Hi, Val Demings.
Val Demings, Nikki Fried. I got my voter registration card from good old Supervisor-elect Joe Scott, who's doing a fabulous fucking job.
Amazing Joe Scott.
That's what I wanted to mention before.
The best Joe Scott.
Fucking awesome. He's doing a great job. And
thank God.
He's our Broward County Supervisor of Elections.
Yes.
Who's been on the podcast. Go check him out. He's amazing.
Yes. And also, wow, has he done great work with that office.
And you know who else gives him a lot of support? All the supervisor elections that are around the state. All these supervisors band together. Most of them are Republicans, as you mentioned on our Lil Muck episode with him. And they all were against all of these awful fucking voter
that's the whole election
laws.
Squad garbage.
Yeah, getting rid of drop boxes, getting rid of fucking or shutting down the early voting
ridiculous.
Whatever. They were all banded together and against the laws that the Republicans were passing, including all of the Republican supervisors of elections. So, you know, when people are for democracy and voting, it doesn't matter what party you're in.
Right.
Doesn't matter. So him coming here and trying to I don't know. There was speculation before his press conference yesterday that was it yesterday?
I think it was Thursday.
Thursday. There was speculation that he was going to that Joe Scott's job might be in trouble, and I'm like, this is some bullshit.
I was ready to flip out if something like that happened.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just what a fucking mess. Yeah. What a mess.
All right.
Anyway,
catch us on Insta.
Oh yeah.
Retweet our tweets.
Yeah, follow Odd Pods Media on Instagram, on Twitter.
Yes.
I think they're on Facebook. Like,
they're
follow
everywhere.
Odd Pods Media.
Yeah.
And follow the Muck.
Follow us. What are you waiting for?
I don't know.
Come on. And sign up for our Patreon.
Oh, patreon.com.
We have some fun content there.
Okay, so Monday we recorded last week the Wire quiz.
Yes.
I didn't do bad. I didn't do too bad.
No, you were great.
Okay, thank you very much.
And it was a fun one because it was the actors on this show, made up the questions.
Yes. Oh, I looked up who Aidan Gillinan. He was the guy who plays Carcetti, and he's the one that's on Game of Thrones. So he's the one who gave the questions.
Oh.
Listen, what can I say? I one day want to be called Mrs. McNulty.
Oh, hi.
Who's that cutie patooties character? Drunk Irish man.
Oh. Again, the tortured soul.
Yeah.
Nothing like
I'm a sucker for an Irish guy.
Hi.
Top of the morning to you, Gina. Should we do that accent again?
It was so cute.
Hillary, you're so beautiful. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. All right, let's get out of here.
Okay, bye. Bye.